Well, I'm going to try something different. I've turned off the studio lights. I have one donut light in front of me here. And maybe that's not blinding you anymore. We'll see. Today I had no brain. It's amazing that my heart is even beating because there was so little brain activity up here this morning. I jumped into these rocks, I started to play, I tried to be bold, I tried to be timid, nothing worked. Made a mess, scraped it off. Made a mess, scraped it off. Made a partial mess, scraped it off. And then laid, my toilet paper on there in places and withdrew the extra oil and pigment from the surface of the canvas and thought, okay, that's enough, I'm going to stop playing with that. Something I knew that needed to be done was around here. It's like there are two entities, right? We have this form, strong, and in the foreground, painted in not with as high a chroma or value as these highlights, but still very important. And then we have these highlights. So we have the entity, we have this it's not an entity, it's a form, it's a subject matter. The sun hitting the tops of wavelets or diminishing fetch, if you might call it that. And then we have this form over here. But dividing those two areas was really a lot of strong blue. So it kept these two separate. I needed to connect the two. I needed some unity here. And I still need more. But I've started, so I've laid in some of these oranges, or some of these colors and values from the periphery of the hail around the sun and down in here. And laid a few strokes in here and there. I'm going to continue doing that, but not so much in the form of horizontal strokes, but rather just in general tone. Here we're still quite blue. I'm going to make it a little more mauve and continue my way down so that this feels more included with this. So our base has sort of got some unity to it. Unity. Another element of design. I will also probably take very gently, very, very, very lightly a few strokes like this and run them off away to the left to balance this a little bit so it's not all moving to the right. I don't want to do too much of that because again then we defeat the purpose of trying to unify these two areas. Also, the brush. I've been using the brush. I've gone over areas of this water a few times now with a knife and eventually end up with such a thick layer and too much texture. And eventually, I think the best thing to do is use the brush. Laying brush strokes in horizontally and sometimes vertically. And then if I feel it's necessary, I'll take that knife and lay over the brushwork itself to try to keep the feeling of consistency of technique within the canvas. Something I never used to do, for me it used to be, after you've done your washing or your tint, only brush or only knife. That's great training, but I've got enough of this colored hair now that I think, no, you know what, I think I'm going to sort of do what I want to apply the paint. Provided the end result is, again, congruent with itself. Provided there's consistency within the entire canvas, consistency of technique. I really have never had much appreciation for a painting that you very clearly can see is, say the sky's all brush and everything else is a different technique. It almost seems too much like cheating because there are definitely different tools you can use for different subject matter on your painting to make it easier for you for application of paint. But what ends up happening is it's so obvious to the viewer that you've needed to cheat. You're making up for the fact that you don't have any skill. Well, hey, we don't want to do that, do we? No, we don't. And you won't improve your skills, you know, if you just lean on crutches. Don't bother doing that. Try walking without those walking sticks sometime. But anyway, in this case, that's what I'm doing. We're getting towards the end. I am using a bit of a brush. I'm using a brush here and there to do that. I'm liking this, how this is becoming unified. As I say, I'm going to work my way down. And that's really all I have to say tonight. Like I said, I was brain dead for a better part of the day. And tonight it's coming together a little bit, but it's a bit late now, so I don't know if how much more I'll do. Trying something different. Did I mention that already? Yes, I did. I don't know how the lighting in this is going to turn out. I'm curious to see. So I'm going to shut up so that I can upload this video and look at it myself. Good night.